What's good, people? Another beautiful day. Let's randomly relate. Reverse rants, no hate. Now, here's what I want to get into, man. Dominic Breazeal put a challenge out to Dyllian Whyte. Put it out there. He's a guy you think he can beat. Feel like he's more athletic, bigger, stronger, okay, and all of that. And I can understand Dominic Breazeal wanting, to get a big fight. He's trying to put himself in that position to get a big fight. Now, this is him saying this. This is no sanctioning body saying, okay, this is the fight you're going to make. We're going to put you in. But I don't think Dominic Breazeal deserves Dyllian Whyte. Not at this point. And I think it's a disservice to Dyllian Whyte. Because Dyllian Whyte has been mandatory challenger for how long? And never got the fight with Deontay Wilder. Okay. Now, Anthony Joshua beat both of them. Dyllian Whyte and Dominic Breazeal. Okay. Anthony Joshua and Dyllian Whyte both have improved as fighters since that fight. Dominic Breazeal has not improved as a fighter. In fact, he's slower than he used to be. When he fought AJ, he was undefeated. They both were undefeated. AJ was on the come up. They were both on the come up. AJ beat Dominic Breazeal up in that fight, man, and he knocked him out in the 7th round. Okay, it wasn't a good fight, and then, he just got caught. No, he pretty much got beat up. AJ pretty much walked him down the whole fight. A couple of times AJ would give him a different look, lateral movement, back up a little bit, let him, but give him different angles and stuff like that. But he got beat up, man, and he got beat soundly. Okay, he hasn't gotten better. The fight with Ondongo or whatever his name is. People, fight of the year. It was a great fight. Yeah, it was a great war simply because both of them have no fucking defense. Dominic Breazeal has always been there to be hit. Now, I noticed some things, okay, in that too. The fight with AJ. Dominic had a little spring in his legs. He was a little light on his feet. He could move better. Now, Dominic Breazeal, it's like he has lead in his shoes, man. He has heavy feet. He's slow on his feet. He's slow. He throws punches slow. He's considerably slower now than what he was back. He like I said, he was undefeated. He's on the come up. Back then, he was on the come up. Now I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, damn, you can clearly see it. Even when he fought Amir Mansour, who's like 6 feet tall, 6'1", Dominic Breazeal is like 6 something, 8, 9. He's taller than AJ. And he's fighting this guy this close. Why are you not working off your jab and using your jab? Dominic Breazeal likes to fight that way. That's the same things he said about Deontay Wilder, calling him an amateur, and he doesn't know how to do this and that. And I said, yeah, you're right. But with Breazeal, it's like he see the things he needs to do, but he just can't do it. Dominic Breazeal, I think he's 6'9", man. This guy's tall. He has range. And he's fighting guys at close quarters. I don't know what's going on in boxing now, man, with these guys. What are the trainers teaching these guys? What is going on that these guys are tall? I like to see Errol Spence fight, but the same thing with him, man. These guys, I don't know what it is. They have height and reach over their opponents, but they're fighting them this close. If that's the case of trying to, I want to get the crowd their money's worth or whatever. I mean, man, you guys are making fights harder for yourselves. And when I watch Dominic Breazeal, one thing that I see with this guy is he makes the fight harder for himself. Dominic Breazeal, his punch selection is he just throws shots and hopes it lands. There's no real purpose. He doesn't set traps for you. The quickest thing that he does is sometimes, when you throw a straight shot, he'll kind of pull back and try to counter over top. That's like the quickest punch that he has. His jab is slow. Everything he throws is slow. He throws wide shots when he tries to trade with you. He just swings wild. Dominic Breazeal, to be honest with you, put him in fights with guys like Oscar Rivas, Charles Martin, You know, Adam Kalnaki. This guy doesn't deserve Dyllian Whyte. And for you, that's a slap in Dyllian Whyte's face. Here's a guy, okay, you lost to AJ. That was some years ago. I'm talking about Breazeal. And since the AJ fight, he had a couple of fights where, you know, they were like wars, like with you know, Amir Mansour and this guy Ndongo or whatever, right? But what has he done? He hasn't improved. He's never won a title. Whyte has absolutely nothing to gain. I'm willing to bet you guys, man. I guarantee you, Whyte is not even interested in this fight. Why would he be? There's no intrigue in this fight. You have to put yourself through grueling training camps just to go into the ring with a guy who has basically nothing to offer you. This is not going to put Dyllian Whyte any closer to a title shot. You know, if this guy, Dominic Breazeal, expects anybody to take him serious, he has to win fights. Now, stylistically, with his height and his size, yeah, on paper, man, he has, you know, things that should be able to at least keep him in a fight and him not get knocked out. At least, you know, if Dyllian Whyte, let's say if he was to beat Dyllian Whyte, very few people are going to say Dominic Breazeal has improved. You know what they're going to say? Dyllian Whyte was overrated. He got beat by a guy that got knocked out in the 7th round by AJ. He got knocked out in the 1st round by Wilder, but he beat Dyllian. Dyllian was overrated, man. That's what it's going to be. If Dyllian beats him, they're going to say Dyllian was supposed to beat him. Dominic Breazeal ain't shit. That's what they're going to say. So, again, Dyllian Whyte has nothing to gain in this fight. And I'm trust me, he's going to laugh at Breazeal. He's pretty much going to verbally chew him up, man, or just dismiss the whole thing, man. I can't even see him being injured. Why would he be? What has Dominic Breazeal even done, man? If Dyllian Whyte should honestly be having a title fight. We understand what's going on with Wilder and Fury, and then also AJ with his mandatories. Look, fights that you can make with Dyllian Whyte outside of those guys is like Andy Ruiz. You know, somebody, you know, or Povetkin, like that fight was supposed to happen. Somebody that brings something to the table. Because I guarantee you when he beats, and this is not a sanctioned fight, something that's in the works. This is just Dominic Breazeal saying he wants that fight. I'm not interested. I wouldn't, honestly, I probably wouldn't even watch that shit. I certainly wouldn't pay for it. And I wouldn't make plans let me hurry up and get home so I can watch this. If anything, I might catch the replay on YouTube just to see how Dyllian Whyte is really looking, because I really have no confidence in Dominic Breazeal. He talked real confident before he fought AJ. Promised the world I promise you this is going to be different. AJ's never been in the ring with a guy like me, blah, blah, blah. He's a good talker, you know. And he got beat up and knocked out. He said the same thing before he fought Wilder. And the thing with Wilder is he should have had extra fuel in his fire, added to his fire, because he got jumped, you know, according to him, he said, you know, by Wilder's team or whatever, beat up in the lobby in front of his, you know, snuck in front of his wife and kid and all of this, and he still got knocked out. I mean, it would make more sense for you to say, all right, look, Wilder, you got me, but you just got knocked out by Fury. I think we both have something to prove. Let's do it again. That would make more sense to me, man. As far as people having an interest, because it's like, okay, they both have something to prove. The thing about Breazeal is he's never had a title. He's never been ranked high, you know, but Dyllian Whyte has. I don't think that Wilder would be interested. I wouldn't even be interested in the Wilder Breazeal rematch, to be honest with you. But at least it's like it will be redemption. Now, Wilder's redemption would come against Fury because that's the guy that beat him. But I can understand if I can understand Dominic Breazeal calling out any top guy, because yeah, you want that, but does he deserve that? In my opinion, no. Why would anybody? How do you just put Dominic Breazeal? I mean, I don't even know how he became Wilder's mandatory. Berman Stavern, after he lost to Wilder, he went into hibernation. Came back, had one bullshit fight, looked sloppy, got dropped, got a decision in a bullshit fight, and next thing I know, he's Wilder's mandatory. I mean, these sanctioning bodies, how they maneuver around and make just give people shots is beyond me. But Dominic Breazeal, I mean, anybody who tune in, if that fight was to happen, they would just be tuning in to see Dyllian Whyte, man. Pretty much. I mean, who really cares about watching Dominic Breazeal fight? Dominic Breazeal, guys like him, Gerald Washington, there's just certain guys, man, that you can't, I mean, you can't just give a guy. You can't. For me, that's a slap in the face. Okay, imagine going to work, right, busting your ass, putting your hours in, doing what you have to do, coming to work on time, making sure the work is done. You're on top of your game, and they're telling you, yeah, we want to make you a manager. Yeah, we like what you're doing, blah blah blah. But then all of a sudden, when the time comes, they give it to somebody else. Now all of a sudden the managerial position pops up again. Yeah, we're looking at you. We want, but they give it to somebody. How would you feel? You're here busting your ass, doing all this. Your job is paying your bills, but at the same time, you're trying to grow. You're trying to climb that ladder. That's how I see Dyllian Whyte. Dyllian Whyte has been doing everything that he's supposed to do, and Dyllian Whyte ends up still getting stiffed. So how is this? This is an insult to Dyllian Whyte, as far as I'm concerned. So I wouldn't even watch that fucking fight, because at the end of the day, it's like Dyllian should be fighting. The lowest that I could see Dyllian fighting is a guy like Jarrell Miller. Okay, Jarrell, you was about to get a title shot, right? They thought enough of you to choose you. You got a big mouth. You claim that you was clean. Now you're clean now, right? Let's go. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm feeling like, truthfully, what I think is this: whoever wins between Wilder and Fury should fight Dyllian Whyte. AJ has Pulev. He beats Pulev. Then he has Usyk. I see nothing wrong with them, with the winner of Fury in Wilder fighting Dyllian Whyte. Even if he loses the fight, I think he deserved that shot. That's how I feel. And if he was to lose that fight, right? Okay, again, you still got like Ruiz, you got Jarrell Miller, you have these guys, you have Dubois, you have Joe Joyce, you got guys like that. But Breazeal is a step down. That is a step down, man. I mean, I'm not intrigued at all by that fight. If I was in that position, man, I would feel insulted. Like, look, man, I didn't beat Derek Chisora, beat all these guys, and did everything. Everything. I was mandatory, and you guys didn't give me anything. And now you're going to give me this shit fight. The worst thing that could happen to Dyllian if he took that fight, a lot of times what happens to guys is when they get a junk fight, they can't get that motivation that they need. And they go in there and get upset simply because, why, man? Who the fuck wants to see Breazeal and Dyllian Whyte? Who wants to see that shit? Dyllian Whyte should be fighting champions. He should be fighting nothing but top 5. He's been doing that. He's been fighting, he's been winning, and he's been getting stiffed. So, like I said, I understand Breazeal trying to, put himself in a position to get a big fight, but Breazeal does not deserve Dyllian Whyte. Breazeal, like I said again, give him someone like Charles Martin. Charles Martin disappeared for a long time. Came back. He lost the fight. He just won a fight, a couple of months ago. But, yeah, give him someone. That's the kind of fight you make. Oscar Rivas, Charles Martin, someone like that. Give him Helenius. What you going to do now? Helenius beats Kanaki. What? Helenius is going to get the title shot now? No, that's the kind of fights you put Breazeal in. He needs to be able to prove himself in fights like that. And the thing about Breazeal is, even if he was to pull off the win, I don't see him beating AJ. I don't see him beating Wilder, and I don't see him beating Fury. I don't see him beating Dyllian Whyte. So what is the purpose of giving Dyllian Whyte a junk fight? You put your body through a 3-month grueling training session to prepare for a junk fucking fight. That kind of thing could psychologically have you're training, but it's like, man, I have no interest in this fucking fight, man. And it's your job to get there, you and your team to get you there mentally as well as physically. But who wants to see this fight? I wouldn't want to see that shit. To be honest with you, I have, like, honestly, I wouldn't even watch that fucking fight. Like I said, I might just, like I said, just to see what Dyllian looks like. I wouldn't watch that shit. I'm not even, and I love watching boxing. That's just a fight I'm not interested in. Dominic Breazeal fights all wrong. The same thing we said about Wilder goes for him, man. The guy has been fighting the same way. Okay, he comes from a football background. Okay, so he didn't come up boxing, and the things like he's damaged. Dominic Breazeal is too slow, too flat-footed, heavy feet. He can't move. He does not have the spring in his legs anymore. Watch that AJ fight, and you'll see he had some spring in his step. He doesn't have that anymore, man. He's been reduced to exactly what he said to Wilder. Let's meet this in the ring and see who lands first. That's his whole game plan. Just try to land a punch. That motherfucker has no game plan. He has no ring IQ. He understands, and that's the thing that's weird about it. He understands what should be happening and who does what right, and who he understands. But when it comes to himself, he just can't do that. The shit that he see. He's like an old trainer. The trainer can tell you, yeah, do this, do that, do that. He knows, but that trainer can't get in there and do it anymore. Breazeal is just damaged. He's damaged, man. He's not the same. All you have to watch any fight up into the AJ fight. He was quicker. He was never like really fast. He was always kind of slow, but he was quicker than what he is now on his feet and with his hands. And he moved. He just moved better. He had, he was never tactically smart. He just, he was just trying to figure out what he's trying to do, trying to buy time to get out the way, just throw shots. That's just all. It's like he has no rhyme or reason. I'm just trying to land shots. And that's how that's him. And he's always just been there to get hit, man. He's easy to hit. The thing is, once he stands still, he gets ready to punch. He's never really first. He tries to counter after after his opponent throws something, he tries to counter, but he's too slow for that style. And if he would learn to work off of his jab, I mean, by this stage in his career, it's the same thing that applies to him, man. Same thing that applies to Wilder. It's going to be next to impossible for Wilder to really learn all the fundamentals that at his age. Dominic Breazeal has been beat up too many times. He's been in too many wars. He's a journeyman now. He's a journeyman, man. He's no longer, he's not even a top prospect, man. He's a journeyman. That's what he is. And I think, like I said, again, it's a disservice to Dyllian Whyte. I'm not interested in the fight. I mean, if that fight was to happen, whoever watch it, whatever. And I'm not telling people not to watch the fight. You do what you want to do. It's your business, we all here to, hey, we just talking about boxing, man. But it's a junk fight, man. It's like I said, it's a disservice to Dyllian Whyte. It's something I would be offended if I was Dyllian Whyte that people would even consider putting me in a fight with this guy that just got knocked out. He lost both of his big fights. He lost badly. So what are you saying about me? That you think this is a fucking good challenge for me? Stylistically, it may seem like it. I think Whyte should beat this fight. There's no way Whyte shouldn't win, and Whyte should also, be able to impose his will on a guy like him, because he's very limited. He's too slow. If he just say it's one of those stylistic fights that for some reason he just knows how to fight Whyte, or he does better against Whyte, again, and it just makes Whyte look bad, because look at Breazeal's, look at his resume. Look at what he's done. Look at what he's been incapable of doing. So this fight doesn't benefit Whyte, whether he wins and loses, it doesn't benefit him. It's just a junk fight that, for what? I mean, for what? Anyway, that's all I want to say on this video. I'll catch y'all on the next one.